This is John Thomas Gill. It's a Sunday and I'm having my cup of coffee. Just sitting here at Starbucks, just letting people know how I feel, which is important to do, especially when you're 48 years old. 48 years old, living out of a little homemade home you made, and it's like you've been forced to. It's like taking somebody from behind bars who's behind bars for charges that they're not guilty of, and instead of incarcerating them, having them live on the streets out of a tiny home. That's basically what you've done here to me in America. And I tell you, I hate this country. I can't wait to get out of here. I hate you. You're nothing but liars. You're nothing but liars. You're nothing but liars. And you people are puppets. Everybody in this country is a puppet to these liars. They actually think they're getting the truth when they hear the information coming from these people that hold elected offices in this country. That Negro in the White House, if he would be that, I guarantee he's told lies, and you couldn't tell by looking at him, because it's an inherited part of himself, and it may even be an inherited part of that particular race of people. You know, Thomas Jefferson considered them to be a little bit lower in intellectual properties. But anyhow, that's you don't get any truth out of them. Just like that former president. I didn't have sexual relations, and I didn't inhale. I smoked, but I didn't inhale. Who the hell would tell a white lies like that and expect people to believe it? And not only did some believe it, but he's the blessed one. They still think highly of a man who's capable of white lies like that. You're capable of some big white lies. You're capable of selling out to a secret society and running the office of president at the same time and agreeing upon a bunch of shit that totally violates every law and constitutional right Americans have in this country. That's what I think you're capable of, and I think and I'm getting a gut feeling that former president, he's worse. I think that former George Bush played a part in getting John F. Kennedy assassinated. I wouldn't be at all surprised at that former president. And now that I think about that, Jeb Bush doesn't even deserve to be president. His dad and his brother fucked it all up for him. He doesn't deserve to be Bush. And I speak freely as an American, because there ain't nothing in the life of John Thomas Gillum that would justify or give need to bow down to anybody in a political office in America or abroad. There is nothing in the life of John Thomas Gillum that would justify that. Nothing. Now, you might want to check with Ron Gillum, is his name? Ronald Eugene Gillum. And Patrick O'Brien McCurry. Pat, and if you look up that word, that's the noble one. Well, so is Nicodemus. He was pretty noble himself. Anyhow, look up those names. Look up Christina Eve Gillum. Look up Christina Eve Gillum. Look at that full name. Christina, break it down to Chris, then Tina. She added that Tina, I think, later. She was always Chris when we were kids. It was always Chris. Now it's Christina, or changed to Christina Eve Gillum. I don't even know, to be honest with you. Nor do I care. I don't care what none of their names are. But look into them. And Jeffrey Michael Gillum. He's the one who kind of sit around like this. He's the one who run your life, keep you from everything, and these police officers in Southern California will aid in that. You know, you've done nothing for me, but all you did was put me under the fear of the law in America. While repeatedly, you made attempts on my life in America. I haven't gotten no feedback of anybody going to jail for attempted murder. That's when you attempt to make an attempt on life, you go to jail for attempted murder. That's usually the process here in America. You put them in jail for attempted murder. That retard that was having sex with all the minors at that library in Fontana, the one that, wherever he lives today, maybe Guatemala, I could have sworn, I might be crazy, this might be another, as Pat McCurry would say, a chemical imbalance, but I could have sworn when I was here in San Juan Capistrano, that at one point when I was riding down the street, I could have sworn I seen what appeared to be him with his hair dyed dyed real dark, kind of rode his bicycle way away from me to avoid me. Guilt that I know, and a gut feeling's there, but I know whether or not to act based on what you've done to me here, you Southern California police officers. What you've done to me determines whether or not I have the right to act against somebody who's riding their bicycle by. Well, I heard him at a different level. Believe it or not, he's one of the few I was able to hear. He said, "What can I do to John to kill John? What can I do? What can I do to kill Yacht? What can I do to kill Yacht?" Making attempts. Whatever he did, that might have been whatever was in that little bottle. I mean, whoever got into my pickup truck that I haven't stuck something in my mouthwash. Or it was that Jaime or hyena that I think's changed everywhere we go. Matter of fact, every time I think that he's in my presence, it's always after I get an impression that I got a bad bottle of water. That's an amazing thing. Every time I get an impression, when I seen what I thought was him, but white and not brown, at that Chipotle grill in San Bernardino off of Hospitality, what I saw it was him was but white on a motorcycle. It was shortly after I got a bottle of water. Then the other day I got a bottle of water, and some guy appears here, some Negro, with a Quran in his hand. I burnt the Quran. He came here and started suggesting a Islamic religion and recognizing messages behind symbols and all this other crap, going through movies and pointing out all these symbols. He didn't have no divine energy at all. Matter of fact, he spoke to me at one point and said, "You got good energy," and kind of laughed like Satan coming to get your blood. "Oh, you've got good energy." After whatever, and it was right after I got another bad bottle of water. It's like he came and rubbed a bunch of black shit on it. Same white dude that was driving that motorcycle at Chipotle shows up here, and then he swaps out with another person. I think he swapped out. At one point he swapped out with an actual black man. I don't know. But I ain't following none of these religions they want me to follow. I'm sticking where I'm at. I'm going to continue to curse that name of Jesus Christ, and I'll continue to curse everything in that Bible. Yeah. It's always in multiple. You know, when I was living at that garage in that house, Ron Gillum, it doesn't matter. "Oh, I love my brother." Your love for your brother, you're like a, I don't know what you are. You're like a librarian who sits around and says, I'm gonna have this library quiet every day. And every day she's got to say, "Shh, can you be quiet? Shh, can you be quiet? You're too noisy. Shh, can you be quiet? Keep it down. Shh, can you be quiet? Oh, shh, shh, be quiet, please." It's like every day, "Oh, I'm going to keep this library quiet." And the next day and throughout that whole day, it's quiet. The following day, "Oh, you got to be quiet over here. Oh, you got to be quiet over here." Or Ron Gillum says, "Oh, I'll kill that motherfucker." And the day later, the son of a bitch is doing the same thing. "Oh, I'll kill that motherfucker." The day later, he does the same thing. "Oh, I'll kill that motherfucker." Same day, he's doing the same thing. You're fake. Fake. You're fake. You're fake, Ron Gillum. You're fake, just like Joe. And that piece of shit mother married. You're a piece of shit. Lieutenant for the Sheriff's Department. You're a piece of shit, buddy. You are a piece of shit. A lieutenant for the Sheriff's Department. Whatever position you ended up with at the Sheriff's Department. Head of a drug task force in the 90s or late 80s or whatever point you got the drugs task force. Assistant DA. Chief of police in Fontana and both school police, chief of the school police. I don't think he ever elevated to chief police. He wouldn't have been that effective anyway. You're a man who served the law. But honest to God, I don't think there's anything out there that is a direct result of you that's led to less crime in America or in California. You ain't done that. And all you did was use that law for yourself, buddy. That's why you took on a career in law enforcement. You knew the best way, because I know this based on what I've studied in my gut. And I know that when you have a position in law enforcement, it has the psychological effects that can give you the advantage on everybody around you. You know, how many, for years, people, I know this, that I'm not the only one that experienced this. When I was driving, when I was in my 20s and in my 30s, every time you see a police officer, even despite the fact you're not involved in nothing, it's that satanic, sinful energy that wants you to suffer. Satan wants you to feel that you're guilty of things you're not guilty of. And you'll be driving down the road and you'll see a police officer, your pulse will go up, your heart starts to race, and this happens to everybody. Every human goes through this at some point when they come around. And that gives you, if you can create that in the individual, you have a chance to overthrow a part of themselves and sort of master them, is what you had a chance at. And it's all that, just like an external position power, you have that same effects. But I know that these external position people that hold these power of external position in America and even abroad, they're all snakes. They're dishonest. If anybody causes them any bit of trouble, they snuff them out. They snuff them out, and then the day goes on. There's no law. They're under no law. No laws apply to them. They're above it. No law applies to them. They don't give a shit. They do as they please. Anybody who has anything to say about it, you get done away with. That's the end line. But the average guy, middle class, and whatever, America or even abroad, you do something not even near what they're capable of doing, you're incarcerated in any particular country, and you're suffering. But I don't live for the United States of America. The United States of America fell when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. I live here for the earth. I'm here for the birds, the trees, whatever will come up from the ground. And my goal is sooner or later I'm going to get justice. It's going to make God give to the U.S. economy what the U.S. gives to me and my justice. That's what I say. And the same for that police officer my mother murdered. We spent years in that inferior Jeff Gillum kind of just sit there. He talks like he knows what I want for years. And this other bozo version of Jeff Gillum, I don't know if it's a Weaver or who it is. Oh, fuck, he knows. I don't care what the fuck he says, he knows. I don't give a fuck what he says, he knows. You're full of shit. I don't know what you say I know, because if I did, I'd be in a much better position today, you fucking liar. Fuck you. And fuck that worthless father of mine. Oh, that's a pharmacist following you. That's what's following you, is a pharmacist. That's a pharmacist. No, son, I never had any oleander plants in my front yard. Oh, just bottom bee trees. You talk to that bozo Ron? Oh, just bottom bee trees, yeah. That's all that was in there. Yeah, you're a fucking couple of liars. You're a liar. You're capable of lying either. Half the people that are supposed to be deceased in America probably even deceased. Patsy probably lives in Oklahoma. Something about Oklahoma. There's been something about Oklahoma for years. Something about Oklahoma. Either there's a murder in Oklahoma that travels abroad, or Patsy never passed away, and she's in Oklahoma, and Judy James passed away, or I don't know what you're lying to me about this time. Yeah, I even wonder whether or not the guy you grew up with, if his father passed away, or if his father had surgery and took on a new position as Pat McCurry, and maybe his daughter or something passed away. And this person who apparently got hit by a car in Fontana, I sometimes wonder if it was him that got hit by the car, a friend of ours, or was it his daughter that got hit by a car in Fontana. You lie like crazy. And I would still wonder if Larry Karowski actually passed away, or is it Larry Karowski that lives in Oklahoma? Is it Larry Karowski that lives in Oklahoma, or is there a fake James out there that actually got died and overdosed on meth or whatever it was? So many lies out there, you can't make sense of it, and I don't know. See, and he says I know this. He says I know all this. What I knew is I met a retard at Lewis Library years ago that was having sex with the minors at that library. And then I could have sworn I seen him here today. He looked like he had so much energy from these minors on him. He looked like he was at least 10 or 15 years younger than he did when I was hanging out with him. Like he's preserved his youth by sexual intercourse with minors, and he gets the big high five. High five. Big high five. That's why I used to get the high fives when I worked at Moss Brothers Ford. You get $9 an hour. We're going on 3 years. High five for you, man. You've sold a lot of tires. brakes. High five for a sucker like you. Give me a high five for a sucker like you. $9 for 3 hours and $9.50 after 3 years. 4 years working at that place, 4.5 years. I made from $9 to $9.50 in 4.5 years after selling brakes and tires and busting my ass, running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Oh, high five for you. High five for you. You're going to make it one day. High five for you. Get into wonder if that's the reason why that dealership went under. Here, I'm praying. This is how fucked up you fucked me up in America. This is how fucked up you fucked me up in America. I'm sitting there at the Ford praying for that dealership. When the new one opened up, I was praying. I went to the bathroom a couple times. I prayed, man, dear Lord, let this dealership manifest and be profitable. Let my career as a mechanic continue and get more profitable and profitable for me and everything else. And then a few people's family members died. Weird shit took place at that place, and then all of a sudden, downhill. Here I am praying for people who have been paying me $9 an hour for nearly 3 years, and then $9.50 after 4 years. I'm making $9.50 after busting my ass. I mean, doing a countless number of recalled tires, running around for these service riders. John, give me this dot number here. Go ahead and check on the VIN number on that car, would you please? John, can you check the oil in that bucket? John, check to see how much oil's in there. John, can you go over there and do this? John, can you do this? John, dude, how many tires you sell? Good tires you sell. Oh, you didn't get the pull board? Well, somebody pulled the number. Tough shit. High five, John. Good sucker. High five. High five. And then I got the, at one point I left there, and I wondered whether or not, I got a weird feeling. At one point, just before that dealership closed, I kept getting a funny feeling that my mother somehow was down there selling cars. That shows the nuttiness. But this is what happens when you're done the way you've been done for years. Even by that obese Christian woman that used to get involved with somebody. I guess it was Jeff, the one with half her teeth missing. She's sitting there, and I can tell you right now, I've read that Bible and everything. According to that Bible, Jesus says, "You will not see me till I come around." And I clearly saw a self Jesus. I mean to tell you, I could draw it out. I saw a self Jesus in that woman and in her kids years ago. I remember when this was at that house on Olive Street in Fontana. I seen a self Jesus. I seen a self Jesus. And that all I got to do is recall on that, and all that woman did was profess that Jesus, and all she does is sit back, smoke herself to death, and eat buckets of food. Oh, give it to Jesus. Oh, the woman's on the hell. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Shit. Oh, boy. I don't give a fuck about none of them. None of them. And that half-blind father of theirs, I don't give a fuck about him either. Stepfather, whoever he is. Hey, JJ. What you doing, JJ? Oh, that's beside the point, JJ. That's beside the point. I'm done, man. 48 years old. This is a life that somebody should have who signed a contract with the U.S. government to play a part in, maybe play a part. Maybe many of them do play a part. Signed a contract or took an oath to have a position in the U.S. government and violated the whole oath grievously. Worse than the one who fled to Russia, who was working for the NSA or whatever. I mean, really violated. Worse than the Pretorius or whatever that was a general for the U.S. Armed Forces or whatever and made some boo-boos. Far worse than that. You're thinking I was collecting all this money, had a nice big old house up in Rancho Cucamonga, and I was driving a nice little sports car and was part of the FBI or something. I was just ratting out information. That's what you would think. And then you just take it all from them and throw them to the streets type of thing. Or a druggie. Or somebody who's done nothing but get loaded on dope all their life and drink all their life and beat their kids and wife. Of course, I don't have no wife or no kids, but I mean, that's what you'd expect. Somebody who's beat up their wife, molested their kids, and now is living in a tiny home on the streets. That's what you'd think. Somebody who's got an extensive felony charges, robbed people. I mean, robbed people, thousands of dollars, buy dope and sell dope and have sex parties with minors, and sort of like that retard. And just a total grievous violation of the law. Just pissing on the law here in America. Just violent, robbing people, money laundering, involved in money deals overseas, and just violated people, and went to the central bank where the Freemasons were running it and burnt half the bank down, and then went and stole all the light from all the Illuminates. And that's what you'd expect. Somebody would be living like this, get trauma to the head, feel like you've had holes drilled in, like you've been shot in the middle of the night, whacked in the head with a crowbar or something in the middle of the night. That's what you'd expect for somebody like that. You wouldn't expect that for somebody who's done nothing but long-suffering, to the point where you hear some woman praying in your behalf in tongues. You hear her praying in your behalf in tongues. And you say, why the fuck would somebody have to pray for me in tongues when all I can think of is long-suffering, losing my virginity at 36 and having much of nothing? Doesn't line up. There must be a fake John out there. There must be a fake John that looks just like me that's caused all this. There ain't nothing in my past that gives any reason for me not to have far more than what I have today, period. And I'm counting on some justice. So roll the dice. It's one of those things where you decide. It's not a fight or flight situation. It's your wings will be clipped. It's one of those things where either you'll come to a point where you'll be able to fly, or your wings will be clipped and you'll be bound to earth and fire. One of those things. Something, I got nothing, but I live on a freaking bicycle that now it's got problems. Nothing. There's nothing. You're a fucking liar. My mother is a liar. She's not loved by me, and it's important that you know this. I don't want to deceive you. I'm not a deceiver. I'm not playing no game, some of you say I'm playing. I'm playing no game at all. I tell you the truth. I've had no sexual relations with any minors yet. So I tell you the truth. I ain't gonna deceive you. And I have not robbed no banks. No need to deceive you. I'm not out pushing drugs and robbing high-end electronics. I've been guilty of petty theft, yeah. Not till the age of 45. No charges, petty charges, clear up until the age of 45 years old. That seems a bit odd that somebody would develop a criminal charge not until the age of 45. That sounds almost like somebody who was pushed or put in a position of struggle that led to a criminal charge. That's what it sounds like to me. That's exactly what it sounds like. But we'll investigate only what we want to investigate. That's basically how it is with some of these people. But that's the truth. I can't wait to get out of the USA. That's my new slogan. For 2017, if I'm not gone by then, I'm going to have a sign on New Year's. I can't wait to get out of the USA. I can't wait to get out of the USA. And may the spirit of America give to you who push for all good things in America and new laws. May America give to you who pledge that allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. Remember the under God. Invisible with, invisible with liberties and justice for all. I kind of got the end of that mixed up. Under God, in God we trust. In that same God you trust, and under God, you're subject to that God and what He does. And if it's not a Jesus, it's whomever created what you can't explain how it all came about. That God. That's a God you're under. And when you do, somebody who He reaches down often in behalf of that person, then if you're guilty, you're going to suffer in some way. That's unless you make good with that person, you're going to continue to be in a struggle and suffer. So that's the truth. Under God, in God we trust. It doesn't matter about a winking eye on a pyramid. I don't know if that represents. In the honest to God truth, I never paid any attention to that growing up throughout my life. All these symbols in these dollar bills, I didn't pay a shit thing. Even if somebody told you what it meant, probably chances are it may mean more than that. Dishonest. In your bright minds, your lighted brains, your lighted lives, you ain't done nothing for America. There is nothing in America that proves there's a super intelligent group of people in America. Nothing. There is nothing currently in existence in the USA that would give you the impression you've got some enlightened minds that are working behind the scenes. Nothing. The only thing that's proved to be enlightening is Apple computers, Apple iPhones, the Tesla electric vehicles, which the one I just seen not too long ago. I don't know if I'd buy one. I thought they were wonderful cars. I thought, man, that's that one I saw nearby here. The trunk was out of alignment. The hood was out of alignment. Front fender, lower portion of the front fender was loose and hanging. The seal on the roof was narrower on one end and wider on the other end. Half of the rubber didn't seal the top part for the Gulf wings. I don't know if I'd buy one of those cars, but that's up to you who spend your money. What it is they get excited over their electronic advance in electric cars, and the rest of it they don't put much detail into it. They'll design a nicer car, but the rubber, the molding, shit, that rubber looked that bad for a new car. In 10 years, it'd all be gone. The wind would blow it off, it'd be all rotted and shot out. I mean, it was awful. The rubber seals were not laying properly. Some of it was laying properly. Some of it was collapsed and sunk in there. There was rubber across the roof that sealed the Gulfwing rear doors to the front part. And it was narrower on one end than it was the other. Everything was out of alignment. I don't know if I'd buy a Tesla vehicle, but that's up to you, as I said. Yeah, that sure ain't an enlightened mind. That's an enlightened mind, enlightened to fill its pockets. And that's my feeling. If you got it, I'm trying to give you some insight so you can correct that. If you want to be but that thing, that was a lemon. I wouldn't have bought that one for nothing. That was a lemon. Anyhow, I'm sitting here and that's what it is. All these brilliant minds, all this. Oh, we've got it. We've seen it. We're enlightened. We see everything. I see like that Negro that brought the Quran down here. It was forcing that really on, showing me these symbols. He had showing me he's that same person that uses that hypnotizing, get in your head and put a bunch of programs in you, flash cigarettes in you, like he was pointing out. They get in there and they you don't even know it. You've been a victim. And you unconsciously do everything they want you to do. But the only way they can get away with it, though, is they got to keep you in that position. Because they know that some get just a little and they'll take off of that little and they'll lose control. They've got to keep you in a position. That's what they got to do. That's exactly what you do. And it's reflected in that, in a way America is today. The fallen Babylon. Fallen Babylon. All these, we see it. Oh, I'm just laughing at you. You don't get it yet? I got it. I'm laughing. You ain't done nothing with this supposed enlightened mind who's suddenly tapped into a higher source of intellect, and nothing's changed. There is nothing in this country that would lead me to believe that any group of people are enlightened in the mind. Nothing. You must be. It's like you butchered Elijah came again, and you butchered him and took all his blood and used it to stimulate a little higher intelligence amongst yourselves, and use it to dominate people in a sexual sense. You took instead of the restorer, you settled for the final chapter, is what you did. And that seems to be it. Of course, I've been wrong. I've been wrong before. You know that I've been wrong before. But anyhow, I'm sitting here and
living out of my tiny home. Tired. I got some bicycles now. Woke up this morning and just realized I got 4 spokes broken on my back rim. I don't know how the hell my back rim spokes all got broken. All my spokes are breaking on my back rim. I don't know if somebody swapped it out and brought a different rim in there. I don't know what the hell, but all my spokes are broken. I don't know what the hell. Yeah, what you do is you do enough to a person where everything is suspicious, even though it may not be. That's how you create somebody who's no longer can be considered as credible. You do enough to them where every time something doesn't go their way, which is not much sought to go my way, but the least, and I make efforts to get. It's not like I sit back and I'm smoking dope and smoking joints and drinking beer all throughout the day and walking around the street dragging my a bag full of clothing and fuck everybody. I'm tired of this. I'm drunk and sitting around groping the women at the Starbucks and pulling my wiener out and come on, this country's not walking around and I don't do none of that. I don't sit around and smoke dope and get drunk all day or nothing. Every day is a hope to finally get what I know I deserve in America, and I'll never stop hoping for that, and I'll never stop fighting to get it. But I don't have any. The problem here is what you've done to me. You've left no evidence. So all the wrong that's happened to me, it wouldn't do me. Go to an attorney and say, yes, I believe this has happened to me. This has happened to me. This happened to me. The attorneys go, well, you got any evidence so we can start building you a case and get you some money, get you a settlement? No, I don't have no evidence. Well, how do you know these things have happened? Well, I get it. My gut tells me. What you want to know what the evidence is? I'll tell you what the evidence is. I'm 48 years old. I was raised by a police officer. I'm 48 years old. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a pedophile. I haven't forced nobody to do any sexual things. I haven't been involved in organized crime, laundering money, robbing banks, selling dope. Nothing of that degree. I'm guilty of petty charges that would have never been. That's all I'm guilty of. Is that not enough evidence for you to suspect something's going on here? Would be for me. So that's it. 48 years old. I can't settle at 48 years old. After spending most of my life obedient to the laws here in America, I can't accept it 48 years old. Live in a tiny house, John, and hopefully you find a good place to park it at night. Live in that tiny home, and hopefully you find a good place to park it. We'll do what you can. We'll do what we can to feed you. We'll give you a little food, fatten the cattle. We'll go ahead and feed you a little food, but you just find yourself a little place in that tiny home. And don't be panhandling, and don't be putting your hand in those trash cans and getting those recyclables out. Won't be doing any of that. No, we'll pull our guns out and we'll shoot you. So you better watch it. I'm not settling for that. I'll settle for nickels and dimes, but in another country. I don't want to stay here. Find somebody new to enslave. And when I step across the border, what you had that was mine that you enslaved shall be free when I step across the border. I'm in a different land, governed by a different set of laws, so you will lose that whatever you raked from me over the years. It's not silly, it's funny, because the Bible speaks of a generation that'll suffer for the bloodshed of prophets, bloodshed of saints. People are willing to give their blood up. You either beat the blood out of them or psychologically condition them to play the role of a Jesus. A martyr for your fantasy and your inferior operation is what you do. So I'm looking forward to getting out of here. That's what I'm looking forward to do. I'm looking forward to some justice. But that's up to you. It's a choice. If you want to provide a man with what he deserves at his hand, I got a hand. See this hand here? That's a hand right there. When you put something in that hand, the person then becomes conscious of its existence. Now, if you don't put something in his hand, let's say you
drive by and throw a set of keys to an old Chevy pickup with the camper shell on the ground. That doesn't mean that I ain't picking no keys up. A lot of you people like to set people up. Put it in his hand. Quit listening to Jeffrey Michael Gillum, who sits back and plays the role. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You're that's what you are. That's exactly what you are. You and your doubles are. Anyhow, I'm sitting here, and that's what I'm hoping for. Well, I'm not hoping for it. I think it's time that you make good on who you done wrong for no justified reason. There ain't not a damn action in my. I've read enough books. I don't need to read any further. My mind is enlightened enough. I know what makes sense and what does not make sense at all. What does not make sense at all is somebody who spent most of their life obedient to the laws, lost their virginity at 36 years old, been obedient to the laws, and developed no criminal charges till the age of 44 years old. 44 years old, first criminal charge of petty theft. There is something that needs, either you're denying the truth is what you're doing. You're denying the truth in my case. I don't know about anybody else's case, but I can speak for myself. You're denying the truth. Lost his virginity at 36 years old. First criminal charge at the age of 44. For most of my life, I've been obedient to every law man has made. While I'm sitting listening to somebody who's running for a president's office, I didn't have no sexual relations with nobody. I smoked, but I didn't inhale. I can't believe people were sold those white lies and then elected them into office. I want to get out of here. Those enlightened minds are worthless. Your enlightened mind, your new understanding for life is worthless. It's worthless. You're better off picking cotton. And that's the truth. I'm getting adios out of this country. I'm leaving this country. And that's the way it is. And I wouldn't mind driving a Volvo across the border. I really like those new Volvo SUVs. Those are pretty nice. But I'm not into that. I'm into speed. I'm into sports car speed. I'm not into these other cars. I like power. I'm a power man. I'm a power man. That's what I am. I've already got ideas to create my own power. That's it. I'm just getting out of here. I'm not going to get into talking about cars. That light, that kind of sweetens tries to throw what it shouldn't be. Try to sweeten it up and make things okay by talking about cars. Sooner or later, I'm out of here. Good luck to you.